Hello everybody, Shannon Bankford with the Fellowship Music and Arts Academy and Hobbit Piano Training Online. Today we're going to be doing a piano tutorial on the song Our Great Hope, which is a song from Athey Creek Christian Fellowship or Athey Music in Portland, Oregon. So this is for one of my students here who wants to learn to sing and play this at the piano. So we'll be going over the inversions today and then just the different grooves, and then there's a lead kind of piano line that comes in on the bridge. So let's dive right in here. First of all, we are in the key of D major, which has two sharps. So we'll see F sharps and C sharps in our chords. We are going to start on root position. Here's the introduction. And then there's two measures of A, actually. So the chart up there shows a measure of G, D over F sharp, and then A. Yeah, and then, so let's talk about that. So I'm going to actually put 2 on G down here in my left hand, so I can use 3 on F sharp, and then my thumb is on A. And then when we get to the bigger parts, we'll have our pinky on D. So that's your left hand position. And then rather than jumping up for D and down to A, I'm going to use what's called first inversion D, where I put the D on top. So here's your regular D chord, swap this D out for the top note. And whenever you play first inversion, you should be using fingers 1, 2, and 5. And when I go to my G chord here, you'll notice that this second finger is sitting right there. Leave it there. Just slide in, and put your thumb on the F sharp. Okay, so first practice that move. And that's your verse. Through the fight, we know you're near. All right, then we're going to use these shapes all the way through the verses, okay? Probably on the second verse, there might be a little bit more of a beat. But for now, we're just doing whole notes, which means we just hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So practice the verse first. Now, this is at tempo 135. So I'm just going to turn my little metronome on here that I have up here on my keyboard. All right, so let me run through the intro and the first verse for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. You just hold the chord for the second measure. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, and I hold. 2, 3, 4. And through the fight, we know you're near. I'm singing down the octave. Where you go before us, we'll see victory here. And in the night, when all seems lost, you illuminate with light that breaks the dawn. And then sort of build up here. You're our great hope. You are way home. All right, and we'll launch into the chorus there. So let me stop right there. Okay, so that's the first verse. You play the second verse almost the same. And if you're playing in a band on a worship team, or I actually recorded the piano parts for the album here, I really didn't do anything but just hold the chords. Even on the second verse, they're adding energy, so you wouldn't have to do too much. Now, the difference is, and I talk about this a lot with my students, is what if you're leading this song in worship yourself, or maybe you're singing it at home with your family or something like that, and you don't have a band. So then I would go like, through the fight, we know you're near. So I'd keep a beat if I was solo. Or if I had no bass player and no drums, I'd do these quarter notes down here, like this, right? In the night, and this is great practice as a piano player, all seems lost, just learning to sing over a steady beat. You illuminate with light that breaks the dawn. Then just pump this chord right here. You're a great hope. And we launch into the chorus. And the first chorus is pretty down on the recording, so even if I didn't have a band, I'd probably play it with whole notes. Okay, so let's that is the intro. So all we have to do is learn first inversion D, and you're good to go, right? And then just practice it with a beat, without a beat. And I think that's a great exercise. All right, let's move on. I'm going to scroll up here so we can see the chorus on our video here. There's our chorus. All right, I'll bring it down just a little bit. Okay. All right. So, another thing. Here's the question. Why did I start here, right? You know, I could have played the G chord like this or like this. So when I sing the melody, through the fight, when all seems lost, the singer, the female singer here. Shout out to Brooke Metter, from Athey Creek. She is singing these notes up here. So if I were to play the G chord like this, my chord would be right where all those notes are where she's singing, or even up here, I'd be actually over the notes she's singing. And in arranging, that would just get really muddy, and you'd be kind of blocking her melody a little bit. So starting down here, it kind of keeps all of our chords right here, right below where she's singing, and that's an important thing. It's not wrong to hit the G chord here or here. It's the right chord, but when you piece that together with a vocalist, I like to try to keep my chords right about where they're singing or below them. All right? Okay, so you're my great hope, you're my way home. I'll let go, see you through. All the battle belongs to you. Oh, so she's singing the chorus right up here. So again, I'm gonna start with first inversion. You're my great hope. I think I feel like I did octaves on the recording, but let's just stick with triads here. So D chord, you're my great hope, you're our way home. You won't let go. And I'm doing octaves now. You see, I'm making it bigger. Where you lead us, you will see us through. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Oh, the battle belongs to you. And we're right back into the same loop as the introduction. This instrumental twice. And we would do this. I did re-hit the A chord there because my side camera's shutting off. Excuse me for just a second. I don't believe it's dead, so I'm just going to try to reboot it here. Okay, so we are doing... Might be dead. Lost the side camera. Oh well. We will continue. Okay. Let's see. So D major, G... Oh, B minor. Okay, so if I'm playing D major like this, I'm going to play B minor like this. They're so close to each other. They're relative to each other. D major and B minor share the same key signature. Their chords share two notes, F sharp and D. So you'll want to learn this as second inversion B minor. Here's root position. Invert that once. First inversion. Invert that twice. That's second inversion. All right, so here's all the chords for the chorus. First inversion D with octaves. You're a great home. You're a way home. All right, you won't let go. We're going to go to root position. That's a G. Just put a little R next to the G. Where you lead it, you will see us through. Now, what do I have to change to get to B minor here? I just have to take this and slide it down to F sharp. These don't change. So you might practice that G to B minor a couple times. You through. And then I'm going to go back up to regular A. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Oh, the battle belongs to you. And that's probably the easiest way of using inversions and keeping it pretty smooth. You could go to second inversion. The battle. What I don't like about that is I'm kind of right up against this D in the melody, so either way you're hitting the C sharp. So I think inversion wise we use first inversion D, regular G, second inversion B minor, and then root position A and G. That gets us to the chorus. Now what about the latter choruses? So it's the later, you're a great home, you're our way home. Second chorus, let go. You will see us through. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Technically, these are half notes. Oh, you're our great hope. I play big, low D's here. You will let go, and you lead us. You will see us through. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Look at this bridge. All right, so that's the second chorus that launches into the bridge. So you want to practice that. Now you can stay in this position and it just won't be as big, both in a band or as piano solo. So if you want the choruses to sound like you're going up a level, you can try octave Ds, and Gs, and Bs, and As. All right? So for most piano players, when they're first just trying to coordinate singing a song and playing, it's the inversions are the hardest part. So you just have to really work the right hand. Sing over it in the right hand alone until you feel like you have all these shapes down that are just really close to each other. All right, let's go over the bridge. All right, so the bridge, I came up with this piano part on this recording that was, here's the melody. It's up here. You go up an octave, so you get rest, rest. So 3 times this melody, and then the 4th time it's All right, let me scroll this up here so we can see the lyrics to the bridge. So this riff is going to fit over the chords. All right, so let me demonstrate this over a D chord here. No, this is not how I necessarily would play it, but just so you can hear it over the chords. So we get beat 1 is the chord itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the chord 2, 3, 4. Here's the B minor, 2, and then a G. That's the melody. So we get 3 times F sharp E D. Now they're clicking 135, which really is kind of like the 8th note. So you'll have 2 clicks per beat here. You have 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If I were playing by myself and I didn't have a band, I probably would do that. I would have to hit the chords to get the sound of the chords. But in an actual band and on the actual recording, I'm pretty sure I just did, or no, I did. Yeah, I did this. So I did root 5th root in the left hand. Knowing that, probably the pads or the guitar is probably strumming the chords there. You also could just do octaves down here. Finger 3 up here on the, oops, that's an A, F sharps. There's the B. And the G. Alright, now. The hope of glory, so rich in mercy, you will make things right. The fight is yours, Lord, and you're our great reward. You will make things right. And eventually she gets really big. And it doubles the bridge right there. I think I got the whole thing up here. Yeah, that's right. That's the end. Okay. So I realized as I was singing it that I missed a little passing A chord in there. So we'll go over this again just in more detail. But, all right. So this bridge is going to loop twice. And it's going to build and build and build like a lot of worship bridges do. So the first time I'm doing it in single notes, the melody here. All right. And if you're trying to figure this out and learn this for an audition or to sing on a worship, play on a worship team, this is not going to be written out for you. So how do I figure out what this melody is off the recording? You have to know the scale. All right, and then you listen for it and you use your ear to figure it out. And then you just simply, over each chord right here on the chart, you would just write in, F sharp, E, D, F sharp, E, D, F sharp, E, D, and then F sharp, G, E. You just spell in this. I write them right on my chart so I don't forget where to put my hand. Now I can reference this exact F sharp by calling it F sharp 5 on my chart. So let's say I learn this song, I prepare it, I sing it at a wedding, or I go to church and I play it on the worship team, and then I just don't ever do the song for like a year and a half. When I come back to my chart, get to practice it, it's already written down on there, and I remember it much quicker. So I like to make notes, digital notes or penciled in notes on my charts. So you want to write this melody down, all right? So, okay. So before you even attempt to sing it, you want to play D's. Let me get this right now. Then the A's. Then the B's to the A's. That's what I missed. There's the G's. So it's going to go through this before the singing starts anyways as an instrumental. You slide that down onto A's. Okay, so that means the D is 4 beats, the A is 4 beats, and you get 2 beats, 2 beats, and then 4 beats. All right. So how do I make this bigger? Play the melody in octaves. Move the left hand down an octave maybe. And with a beat. So this would be like the final time. gotta jump back into the chorus, right? Which I have to look at the words or I'll get them wrong. Okay, all right. So let me do an entire bridge just as an example of how this would build up. We'd start with it as an instrumental like this, with probably these octave Ds. So here with the click, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. We got. There's the B's. There's the A's. All right, then we start singing. The hope of glory, so rich in mercy, you will make things right. The fight is yours, Lord, and you're our great reward. You will make things right. Okay, here comes the octaves, and the hope of glory, so rich in mercy, you will make things right. This is the last time, the biggest now. The fight is yours, all octaves on the left hand. Our great reward. Whoops. You will make things right. Got my great hope. And I jump right back to the first inversion D. Okay, stop right there. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, truthfully, that's the first time I've attempted to play the melodic piano part and sing it. So, a couple things to talk about here. That's pretty hard to do. You have two melodies going on: the melody that you're singing, and then the counter melody that we're playing here, down here, in octaves or in single notes. Now, I think a lot of musicians, a lot of piano players that might try to learn something like this that has a melody on the bridge would come in prepared to just play the chords. And the worship leader would be like, okay, you got the chords. That's great. Hey, you're good. Like, as long as you can, maybe you can sing with those or you can play the chords. Sounds good. You're not overplaying or anything. But he knows, but there's a melody in the piano part and you didn't catch that. So if I were auditioning for this and somebody came in and is like, oh, did you listen to it? You prepared the song. You played along with the song, but you didn't realize that that melody is in the piano. And now I know that you can play chords, but you can't figure out melodies on the piano by ear or play them, or you didn't notice it, or you're just either not able to. So you're just, beginner to intermediate maybe. As a piano player at an intermediate level, and if you understand scales and keys, you should be able to pick this out. And I would, if I were auditioning for piano on a worship team, I would for sure practice the piano part. I wouldn't be expected to sing and play that, though. That would be a lot more advanced. If I was leading the song all by myself, I would practice what I just videoed for you and get a little bit more confident building up with these octaves and trying to sing that melody, and project it and everything. I also wouldn't do it in this key because this is a female key, which is so low, so I'd probably transpose it and put it in a different key. But that's another story. So if, as a piano player, practice the bridge by itself. Do not sing over that. And then as a singer, if you're auditioning for a worship team and you just want to show that you can sing and play at the piano, I would just leave the melody out, and I would just be like, same inversions. The hope of glory, so rich in mercy. Second inversion, B minor. You will make things right. All the inversions you learned and used on the chorus and the verses, you use right here. And we'd build it up with, the fight is yours, Lord, and you're our great reward. You will make things right. And I would go back into the chorus like that. So as a singer, practice it with the same inversions and just go from whole notes to quarter notes to building, and you'll be fine. We launch back into the final chorus, and that is the biggest of them all. We built up this awesome bridge where it says the Lord will make things right. We are robed in his righteousness, which I love it. That he's always there to forgive me for my sins, so he'll make things right. So we get to this, the Lord is our great hope, right? We go back to the chorus here, and I'm pumping out these chords with quarter notes. Let's see if I can get my other camera on. I think my other camera totally died. You're our great hope, you're our way home, you won't let go. Where you lead us, you will see us through. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Oh, my great. I was just smashing these low Ds. You will let go. Where you lead us, you will see us through. Oh, the battle belongs to you. Oh, the battle belongs to you. And this is about the only time I might keep this beat going for the end section. So the instrumental here, last thing I'll say about this song, just trying to get it ready, is it's a guitar part. So it's something like this. It's not too hard. So that's what happens at, the instrumentals of the song. There's a lot of energy. It's up. The kick drum is just kicking on like all 4 beats. So that's why I like playing. Actually, the kick is doing these like 8th notes. That's like bang. It smashes. This again, always going back to this first inversion D. So if I led this song by myself, you would not be expected to learn that part. I go into worship practice thinking like, well, what if I show up and the guitar player doesn't know that part? What if he can't play a melody there? And we need something at the beginning around the instrumentals. Because I know my D scale and I have developed my ear, I can play something similar. Maybe it may not be exact as the guitar part, but I could fill that in. So for me, if I were playing these instrumentals without a band, I might do something like this where I take those shapes and a little bit of rocking pattern just so there's something else here before I start singing. So then this would be leading into the beginning. The fight. Right? So I would do something a little bit busier with just the chords or arpeggios saying, hey, this is an instrumental. Whereas if I was in the band and the guitar was playing it, I would just hold those chords. All right. So that's all I have for my tutorial for Our Great Hope in the key of D. Thank you, and good luck learning these inversions and trying to master that melody on the bridge.